Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie and I'm back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video, and today we are going to be going over the new Alpha Quest Summoner Smackdown Boss Rush Week 1. So I was kind of debating on how I wanted to do this, if I wanted to do it live or if I wanted to put out a video, and I decided, you know what, let's put out a video and kind of go over who I think works for this and who I think isn't really the best counter. So I've decided to bring in Stealthy, Nick, Claire, Warlock, and Red Guardian, because Stealthy I would use for Thing, Red Guardian for Diablo, Warlock for Havok and Mr. Sinister, Nick for Nick, and Claire for Sparkles. Everyone in this chapter has heavy hitters. So the first one that we come across is Thing, and I activated Web Foam for Thing to stop the Unstoppable because that can really get you. Now, it's a pretty standard Thing fight. I mean, he has adaptive, and empowered immunity, so you really don't want to bring in Nick or Blade for this fight, your Bleeder champs or Gwenpool or anything like that. You want to bring in a champ who can slow his Unstoppable, or if you don't want to do that, work around his 15 rock stacks. So Stealthy is really great for this because of his Web Phone. Now you could bring in Red Guardian, you could bring in She-Hulk. So any one of those champs who can put a slow debuff on is going to work out in your advantage. So I kind of messed up here and I should have dropped I should have waited and not dropped my special 1 here, but I wanted that big precision. I should have waited for the special 2 to get the slow to last a little bit longer. So I dropped my special 2 here, and I really thought that that had taken him out. And then I looked and I was like, oh no, Thing is not down. So things almost went bad. So I brought in Red Guardian for Diablo. Now he does have Limber and Toxic Rage. So with Toxic Rage means he has a chance to go unstoppable. So essentially this is pretty much the same Diablo that was when he was in the event quest. It seems like Kabam really loves to recycle, so to speak, this Diablo. So again, bringing in a champion here who slows is great, and if you have someone with kind of an easy heavy to counter a heavy with, so, you know, Red Guardian is great for it. I almost got clipped there because of the Unstoppable, but She-Hulk would be really good for this fight as well to kind of keep him slowed. But Red Guardian with the slow off the special 1 is a good option. Even Sorcerer Supreme could work out there, and I messed that up right there. I thought I got the parry, but clearly I did not. So I took a nice 5-hit combo to the face. So, but overall, Diablo is not hard. Just bait out those special 1s and only punish the heavy when he has a slow debuff on. Otherwise, it might not work out so good for you. All right, now Havok. This guy is the worst because of crumbling armor. And with Havok, you need your armor up to negate the plasma detonate. So, and the thing tier 2 is, again, he's unstoppable when it comes to throwing his heavy. So it's kind of one of those interesting situations. Now, Warlock I decided to bring in here because of his armor, but with this fight, it's intercept becomes the name of the game and punishing those specials. So, and you don't want to get yourself in a jam where you lose your armor, which happens to me, because once you lose your armors in this fight, oh boy, those plasmas are going to detonate and they're going to riggedy wreck you. So you kind of want to keep that in mind as you're going through this about who you're going to bring. Now, Guillotine 2099, she can work. She's not the best for this. I feel like Warlock is still the best option for this fight because of his armors, and he's super easy to intercept with. Now, Mr. Sinister. I healed up Warlock and boosted him because I thought this fight was going to be harder than it was because he had defensive and dark intellect. So dark intellect is if he performs a well-timed block, you'll degen. But honestly, it really wasn't with Warlock because of his heal block, the degen he gets since he's awakened, and his power control here. So I dropped in some heals and a 10% boost, and I found that that really wasn't necessary because, well, Warlock just smokes him. So if you have a Warlock, Warlock is going to be your best option for this fight. There are probably some other ones that can do it. Guillotine 2099 can as well, especially if she's ramped up. So if you can get her ramped up in one of the previous fights and come in here, she's gonna just, you know, knock it out of the ballpark. All right, so now we're on to Nick. So I love me some Nick on Nick action. Nick Fury is my favorite counter to Nick Fury. Really the one thing you have to worry about here is about his buffs and debuffs because they last longer, and also his shank. And with shank, what that means is if you hit into his block, he has a chance to bleed you. Now, I actually think this is also what he had in the event quest when he was introduced to the contest. Now, Omega would be a great counter to this because you could keep that death field active, right? Just hit into his block, block, keep that death field active, and you're really not going to have to do too many hits. So just make sure you don't get him to that unblockable phase. Kind of keep his special ones limited, maybe trying to bait out those special twos. So keep that in mind when fighting Nick. But overall, Nick isn't a bad fight. Again, I love me some Nick on Nick action. I mean, who wouldn't? But Omega, I feel like, would be one of the best counters for this fight, just based on having that shank and just having your death field active almost all the time. So you just have to stand there and essentially, you know, melt Nick away. And so it's not a terrible fight. But, you know, or someone who could do degen, or not degen, excuse me, damage over time debuffs is also going to work out well for this fight. Okay, so now we're moving on to Sparkles, and this is where things start to go bad, because surprise, surprise, I didn't read the node, and she starts with 10 binary charges. Had I realized this from the beginning, I probably wouldn't have brought in Claire. So I said, well, to hell with it, brought in Nick. Nick dies, which is fine, right? Because his LMD is destroyed. So the real Nick Fury will now stand up. And so he's here to party. So I'm just waiting for that indestructible to kind of fall off before I can go ham at her and kind of get those bleeds stacking. Now with her, because she starts with 10 indestructible, or excuse me, with 10 binary charges, it's going to be really easy to get her to the 25, which means she's going to go binary very quickly, which even if she dashes back and holds block at the 10 charges, she will go binary. So overall, I thought this was a fun boss rush. I kind of assume that in the weeks to come, it will get harder and harder because, let's face it, these were baby nodes. Now, like I said, a lot of these nodes we have seen on the same champs from the event quests in the past. So I kind of feel like there's not a whole lot of creativity behind it as of yet. Maybe in the future boss rushes in the weeks to come, they'll be a little bit more creative. I definitely think the difficulty, though, is probably going to scale. But anyways, guys, that's all that I got. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this epic Summoner Smackdown Alpha boss rush? Who did you find to be the best counters for it? Who did you find to be the most pain in the butt fight on this or in this quest? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you guys liked what you saw and you want to see more, please remember to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and hit me up in the Discord chat. Thanks, guys. Bye.